Today is a sad day. Today is we take a fat loss for free speech. We take a major loss for open inquiry, the exchange of ideas. It has been made abundantly clear by the Silicon Valley cartel that they are not going to remain neutral from here on out. They are not going to remain nonpartisan. Fairness will be dispensed with. They have elected, and by they I mean Twitter, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, etc. They have elected, these groups, these corporations, have elected to completely endorse and support former Vice President Joe Biden for the presidency of the United States. What we've experienced today on October of 2020 is unlike anything we've ever seen before. The levels of censorship, the mental gymnastics, it's unprecedented. Earlier today, an article went viral. Millions of people have seen it, circulated it, but it doesn't matter. The censorship occurred regardless because of how damning it was. An article was published by the New York Post. The details of the article, which I'm going to be leaving archived links in the description too, they show images of Hunter Biden, which is Joe Biden's son, with a crack pipe in his mouth, and some other suggestive and raunchy photos. They also include emails that leave nothing to the imagination. It is 100% crystal clear that the things that President Trump was accused of falsely and impeached for, Joe Biden actually did those things. Hunter Biden actually did these things. And now the Biden family is being protected by the most powerful corporations, the most richest corporations in the United States, probably in all of human history, since we started having corporations. These are the biggest ones. These are the most powerful ones. And we got a glimpse of what that power looks like in real time. They censored the hell out of the New York Post. They censored the hell out of links, not just people's tweets, but people's personal direct messages, which are supposed to be private. Now we know that they're not. The Twitter developers, the Twitter admins, they have access to them, and they have the ability to control what we can and can't send to each other on Twitter. Twitter is not a safe platform anymore. It is insanely partisan, the company itself. Jack Dorsey is not an honest individual. We're going to be going over some of the things that he posted here. See, our communication around our actions on the New York Post article was not great, and blocking URL sharing via tweet or DM with zero context as to why we're blocking, unacceptable. So let's read this from Twitter Safety. So we want to provide much needed clarity around the actions we've taken with respect to two New York Post articles that were first tweeted this morning. The images contained in the article include personal and private information like email addresses and phone numbers, which violate our rules. It's funny that they mentioned that because they didn't feel the need to take action on Black Lives Matter activist thugs or those Antifa goons when they were circulating and publishing the personal and private information of federal officers and police. Sean King, the professional Black Lives Matter activist, he's threatened to violate this very rule, and he is still on the platform. So I wonder, Twitter, Jack, why have you failed to act upon people genuinely plotting to violate these rules? Why have you failed to act against groups of violent individuals who have demonstrated that they are willing to do these things? They have done these things, and they will continue to do these things because they work. They scare people. Black Lives Matter activists, they might as well be terrorists, in my estimation, based on their actions. Why not? They burn down buildings. They burn down people's homes with people inside. Humans have burned alive. They've tortured animals at their violent riots and protests. They have targeted Americans because of the color of their skin, whites. Many people have been shot and killed, directly related to the violent George Floyd riots. Yet these individuals are allowed to operate on the platform, but the Proud Boys are not. Hypocrites. Hypocrisy is on full display for the whole world to see. Let's continue. As noted this morning, we also currently view materials included in the articles as violations of our hacked materials policy. Well, this is just a flat-out lie. There was no material that was hacked. There was no what they're doing is manufacturing a story around the article that was published by the New York Post. Nothing was hacked. Nothing was illegally obtained. There's no evidence to suggest this at all. They are lying and making it up to justify these draconian actions, to censor people's lawful speech. And in this case, it's the New York Post. The New York Post is having their lawful speech censored, and people who are sharing this are being censored as well, and they're being mistreated by Twitter and other tech platforms. Reddit isn't even talking about this at all, which is very unusual, because you would think this is a story that's attracted the attention of millions of people, not just on the internet, but all over the world. You would think that there'd be something about this on there, but there isn't. That is a testament to how powerful these companies are. A platform with 20, 15 million unique users or visitors a day, and you don't have a single article regarding this incident. I mean, you have the former vice president's son, this Joe Biden, who's running for president of the United States. He's found in bed with a crack pipe, and there's also a sex tape. And that doesn't appear to be newsworthy. That's not going viral on Reddit. It's very unusual. And of course, it's not going to be able to go viral anymore on Twitter or Facebook, because they are censoring the content. And, other people have pointed out, the courtesy that they're extending to the Biden family and the Biden campaign, they don't extend that courtesy to President Trump. When the New York slime, when they ended up publishing information about his personal taxes, which is illegal. They didn't extend that courtesy about hearsay involving the president of the United States, saying that, American soldiers are losers and all this other stuff. They don't extend that courtesy to the president. There have been a lot of posts about the president of the United States, all unsubstantiated, all bunk, all lies, and they allow it. How come all these celebrities, these pedophiles from Hollywood who are threatening the lives of the Covington Catholic kids, how come they weren't punished or penalized or banned for posting the personal and private information about minors and circulating news about their alleged actions that were not substantiated? They dropped the ball on this, on that situation so hard that they've lost, they're losing all their lawsuits. Again, their defamation lawsuits. The Covington Catholic kids have, they've been smeared and maligned on this platform, but they were not extended this courtesy. None of those articles were retracted. None of those people were censored. Nobody was banned. If anything, you appear to have been rewarded if you made credible threats of violence against these young Catholic kids. And now we're to believe that this information, that this article from the New York Post is somehow endangering somebody. The only thing that it's endangered is Joe Biden's chance of becoming the president of the United States. It's abundantly clear that the impeachment sham is just that. It's a sham. It's a lie. It's BS. Basically, everything that they accuse President Trump of doing and being a part of or party to, Joe Biden was all those things. Hunter Biden was all those things. And this is embarrassing. This is a fat L for the Democratic Party. This is a fat L for Joe Biden. Joe Biden had to call a lid at 9 a.m. in the morning. They've remained entirely silent. Right now, the Silicon Valley cartel, they're the ones running cover and interference for the campaign. So to that I say, we got to get organized. We got to get ready, and we need to vote. We need to, here's my action plan for you. You're gonna research when early voting takes place and when the actual day to vote is, and you're gonna plan accordingly. You're gonna go and vote on the day that makes the most sense to you, the day that it's gonna be the easiest for you. You're probably gonna be waiting a while because a lot of Americans are going to be voting in person because they do not trust the mail-in voting systems, because they're not equipped to handle the millions upon millions of people that may or may not be sending in a ballot to be counted. So expect to stand around for a while. And we're going to be voting for all the Republicans that we can. And we're not going to support any of the Democrats because the Democratic Party is absolutely suicidal. This is what I see here is desperation. What I see here is fear. The polls have suggested that Trump doesn't stand a chance in hell of winning the presidency, that he is a loser and he's slipping in every voting group. It's not true. If he was an abysmal failure, like the fake news industry is suggesting, like all these professional activists on social media are suggesting, there would be zero reason to censor this content, to censor these articles from reputable journalists that show Hunter Biden and former Vice President Biden in a bad light. There's no reason to do any of that if Trump is such a freaking loser. He isn't a loser, and he's not losing. I believe wholeheartedly that he's going to win this thing, and I genuinely believe that we're going to rise above this, but we need to be organized, and we need to do our part. It's time to get our asses off the couch. It's time to get out there and support our boy Trump and support the Republicans. Now, with that being said, I am not pro-Republican. I am not pro-GOP. I am pro-Trump. The GOP, the Republicans, they've made it clear. Our agenda is Trump's agenda. It's good enough for me for right now, but, you know, once we win this thing, once we rise above this thing, the Republicans need to get off their fucking asses, and they need to do something about Silicon Valley, because this is out of control. They got the whole world by the balls. They control the main channels of communication. They at their fingertips, they control the overwhelming majority of human communication in 2020. Handful, 4 or 5 companies control over 50%, over 60% of human communication. Unreal, man. Unreal that we have to have this conversation about censorship of lawful speech. Censorship not just of individuals, but of our press. Now, I've been very cruel to the press, but I've never advocated for their censorship. I've never advocated for any, malice towards them. I hate them. I disagree with them, and I want them to go away, but not like this. Not like this. Not because they publish something that goes against the modern leftist ethos. That's not how I want to, I don't want to fight this thing like that. And by the way, this hurts us anyways. So we got to be principled in times like this and completely reject and denounce the censorship of lawful speech. With very few exceptions like death threats, rape threats, and, doxing, that sort of thing. So, yeah, man, we got to go out there. We got to support the president. It's the only way that we rise above this thing. And that's one way to send a message to these bastards that we're coming. But the Republican Party, we got to let our elected officials know that they need to step up and rise above the donor money, rise above these multinational corporations that are trying to pull at the strings and control them. Because if not, then you know what? I don't care if the Democrats get back into power. It's not my problem anymore, because the Republicans of yesteryear have proved to be ineffective. They've proven to be shills, pushovers, and it makes more sense to have Democrats in office than to have these useless morons in office giving us blue balls and false hope. I'm not interested in that. We've beaten the Democrats before, and we'll beat them again if the Republicans don't get in line, get in formation, and go out there and fight on the front lines, because there's only so much we can do. And that involves just going out and vote and supporting our guys and nothing else. I don't want to see or hear any rhetoric about violence or any of that goofy shit. We're going to do this legitimately. We still have the tools. I genuinely believe there's still hope. Please do not give up hope. There's just no other way, man. Like, this is the only way to do it right for now. So, yeah, guys, this is what's going on. It's very sad, very upsetting, but people need to know. I ended up doing 2 videos yesterday, one about Kyle Rittenhouse, very good news, good updates, and I did another one about Amy Coney Barrett, and there was like some audio issues, so I had to scrap them, but I'll do them later. I'll publish them tomorrow. Peace out.